welcome back to my channel. My name is Kelsey and today we're doing the reading vlog for The Dark Prophecy by Rick Riordan. Hey! I just want to apologize that this vlog is coming so late, but I've been really struggling with editing videos. And you know what? I'm just going to post this. I'm going to deal with the algorithm shoving me under, and we're just going to go and move on from here. Editing videos have been so difficult for me this year, but I hope you still enjoy the vlog. So if you were not aware, I don't know how you weren't, I have so many videos on this channel, but me and my friend Anani have been reading through the Rick Riordan universe, and last month we read The Dark Prophecy by Rick Riordan. This is the second book in the Trials of Apollo series. The Trials of Apollo series follows Apollo as he has been sort of cast down to Earth as a punishment for something that happened in the Heroes of Olympus series. So if you would like to know all of my thoughts of the Heroes of Olympus series, I will leave a link up above to the playlist where I have all of the Rick Riordan books that I've read in vlogs. In this series, the only way that Apollo can come back to Mount Olympus is by restoring several oracles that have gone dark. And throughout this series so far, Apollo has been struggling without his powers. So we'll jump into about 2 weeks ago when I read this book into the vlog, and I will meet you here at the end. Hello.
Hi. How's it going?
Good, you?
It's going well. Let me tell you why I was late.
I'm all ears.
I went to the bookstore to buy the book.
A little last minute, but you know, I can't judge.
Mm-hmm.
That means you really like the first book, so I'm happy.
I know.
That's the best. I'm jealous because spring break here is not the same. It's like the groundhog told us we weren't gonna have that much winter left. What happened?
Yeah, the groundhog said.
He lied. How was your little reread?
So good. So good. And it was at 1x speed, and I said, "What is this?"
Yeah, I know. Every time I put an audiobook on and it starts at 1x speed, I'm like, there's no way we talk this slow. I at least do not talk this slow.
Yeah.
Hello, so as per usual, I'm really hoping that I made a better introduction. I am currently on the second reading sprint for The Dark Prophecy by Rick Riordan. This is reading sprints that I do every month or so with my friend Haunani for the entire Rick Riordan universe, and this month we're on the second book in the Trials of Apollo series. My feelings with this book is very similar to the first book in the series. I really love how different it feels, but still similar. Apollo and Percy are very similar characters in terms of their personalities. I find Apollo to be very funny. I love his arrogance. I think his arrogance is probably one of the things I like the most because it serves for really comedic timing in the book and makes for understanding the way that the gods think in a like funny and like charming way. And I just feel like I'm getting to know like Apollo as a god a lot more than I would otherwise. Right now I'm currently on page 45, and where we are in the book so far is that Apollo, Leo, and Calypso are coming together. So we know from the last book that these three have been tasked with finding the different oracles. However, they come upon a group of Benyamins. I don't know how to pronounce what it is, but I'll put a picture of like what they are. And again, something I love about the series or Rick Riordan in general really is like different mythical creatures and like unknown mythical creatures as well that you don't really hear about. They're not like the most famous mythical creatures, but I find that to be really interesting. I love learning new things about like history and about the mythos. And they get saved by two older women named Emmy and Josephine. These two have taken them to this place called the Way Station, and it seems to be what was like a sort of Camp Half-Blood in the past, but essentially it's a sort of station that is there to like help demigods, lost satyrs have a place of rest in order to like re-find where they need to go or if they were on journeys and stuff like that. And that's where we are right now. 45 pages in, not much has really happened. We don't really know what's going on with the oracle. All we know is that Emmy and Josephine, ex-gods and a demigod, I think, and they are together from what I understand. So we have some like LGBTQ plus representation, and I'm just really enjoying it. I'm going to continue listening to the audiobook that I have from Libby, and we're going to continue and go on from there. Hello, so we're in, I don't think this is going to be our last sprint. I'm still kind of sort of
pretty much awake. I don't need to get up that early tomorrow because I did want to go for a run, but in the morning it's appearing that it's still going to be a little cold, so I think I'm just going to do my normal gym tomorrow. I don't really need to wake up early, so I might do another sprint after this, but we're in the last couple of minutes of this sprint that we're just on, and I am now on page 137 of the Dark Prophecy. That's chapter 17, and Apollo and Calypso have just gone to the zoo in order to save the griffins. They were tasked this by Brutimus. Is that god's name, or Britomartis, in order to get those griffins back, and then Britomartis is going to help them save Georgina, who is Emmy and Joe's daughter. All of this is going to come together because they need to find a specific oracle, but they need all of these like little moving pieces, obviously. So currently Calypso and Apollo are at the zoo, and they've just kind of defeated an old emperor named Lycerasus, something like that, but they were able to defeat because something fell on this Roman emperor, and we don't know who did it. We don't know what it caused. Apollo and Calypso are able to get away, I think, and what I think Apollo thinks is that it was Meg McCafferty, which, if you remember from the first book, was the young girl that Apollo was traveling with before he found out that she betrayed him, because she is the like stepdaughter of the Emperor Nero, and the Emperor Nero is the one that is like concocting all these like evil things that connect all these books together. And he convinced or manipulated his stepdaughter into bringing Apollo, and that's how we got the ending of the last book. So here, Meg is nowhere to be found, and Apollo got a glimpse in his dreams, because he's obviously the god of like oracles and stuff. In his dreams, he sees a specific scene where they can't find Meg anymore. Here, it seems as though Meg helped them escape from this other emperor so that they can save the griffins. And as you notice, these are griffins on the front of the book. So I have a feeling that this is the scene we're about to read, which is exciting. I love when I can tell like what the scene is that's on the cover of the book. It's always something that like gives me joy. So we have about 3 minutes left. We're going to chat a little bit. I think we're going to go do another smaller sprint after that before we end. And that'll be it for today for this book. So we'll see how much I can get done in the next 33 minutes, and then I'll update you probably more tomorrow, depending on what page count I am in the book. Hello, it's time for an update. Actually, let me mute the Habs game. Very rude of me. But we have a crisis. It is now 9:49, so 9:50, basically 10 p.m. on Tuesday, March 26th. My library hold for the Dark Prophecy is due tomorrow for the audiobook. I want to read this on audio. So the problem is that I need to finish this tonight. According to Libby, I've picked this audiobook up 7 times and I read for 3 hours, and I'm on track to finish this in 3 hours. So that would leave 1 in the morning. If I can read until, let's say, midnight, or increase the speed, I can potentially finish this tonight. Let's do a quick update. I am now on page 200. Meg McCafferty is now with the group, and they need to go and attack the Roman emperor of this book. So we were in contact with one of the soldiers that Leo doesn't like, and I'm constantly going to forget his name, but it's Lephistus or something like that. And we find out that this soldier is working for the Roman god Commodus. This is the character that was played by Joaquin Phoenix in Gladiator, just in case you wanted to know that little factoid. I looked it up today because I was like, why do I recognize this name? And then I realized that it was Joaquin Phoenix's character. And Meg McCafferty, now that she's with the group, is telling them or letting them know that he is the weaker emperor. Like, Nero doesn't really value him as an emperor, so she's not too worried to deal with them. I still don't fully trust Meg, not because she's like evil or I think she's evil, but because she is a 10-year-old girl that is being masterfully manipulated by someone she trusts and believes in. So is she still working for Nero? I don't know, cannot confirm at this point halfway through the book, but she is willing to help Apollo, Leo, and that's it. I think it's only them three to go deal with Commodus. And we find out that Commodus has a problem with Apollo because Apollo killed him in the past. So that's where we're at right now with the relationships and where we are going into the second half of the novel. I have the entire second half to finish before tomorrow. I don't know when it's due. Does it say? I just know that it's due tomorrow. So hopefully I can read as much as I can tonight. And then if the audiobook is returned tomorrow, then that's fine, whatever. I'll read it physically. I forgot to mention I can't renew it because someone rudely is waiting after me and expecting me to finish this within 21 days. Rude. But anyways, I will start now because if I don't start, I'm never going to. So we'll do this. See ya. Hello, so I'm a little tired, but I wanted to give an update of where I am so far. It is 11:30. I'm going to stay up a bit more. I am currently on page 300 and I'm still really, really enjoying this. I love Apollo's voice. I think that they are probably one of Rick Riordan's like funniest characters simply because like they're not really learning anything, they're just vibing. Like yes, he's learning things because it's a middle grade book and like he has to like learn the power of friendship, I guess, and whatever, but he's not as like naive or youthful as like let's say Percy Jackson or Magnus Chase or Jason and Leo from the Heroes of Olympus series. Like he knows things about the world, so I think that that's really interesting and makes for like quite a funnier character because he's not stopping to think things, so he can have like this morality session. Like he's just doing things and then being like whoops. And I love that, and he really reminds me of Leo as well. Like I really, really like Leo's character. I'm so happy Leo's in this book. The comedic timing between him, Apollo, and Meg McCaffrey is just so funny. I'm totally vibing with them. In regards to the plot, we learned, or like I guess I realized that Jordina is one of the oracles, so that's why they were originally going to look for her, because she was also missing. So that all accumulated and made sense in my brain for me. Now Commodus is looking for them because Letices, I forget that guy's name. What's his name? But the son of Midas put tracking on the Griffins, and Apollo decided to save him because he felt bad that he was like kind of being thrown under the bus by Commodus, and he's like, oh, I feel for him. I completely understand like being used and whatever. But then that guy betrays them, and so now they're like, oh, well, now we have to deal with Commodus. So we're getting to that point right now. I'm going to continue listening to it. I don't know if I'll update my feelings about the end of the book unless something like really crazy happens while I'm listening, but it'll probably end up being tomorrow, especially if I don't finish this in time. Okay, I'm giving up. It's 12:35. I look exhausted. I did have my magnesium Sleepy Girl mocktail, so that could be why. Page 346 out of 401. So like reasonably, I just have like basically 50 pages left. But I'm giving up. If the audiobook returns tomorrow before I get a chance to listen to it, then I will just read the rest with my eyeballs and suck it up. That's it for tonight. I still really enjoyed what I read. There were some emotional scenes with Apollo and Meg. We're in like a pretty high intensity scene right now, so I'm enjoying it. Good morning. I'm just starting work. I'm gonna try to listen to the audiobook until they take it away from me. The last scene. So welcome back to the end of the vlog. Let's get into my final thoughts on The Dark Prophecy by Rick Riordan. I am just really, really loving this series, and I think it's apparent throughout the vlogs that I've been doing. And I think that this is particularly because I just love Apollo's POV. I know that the voice of Apollo is very similar to Percy and Magnus's voices. It's all this like really funny, angsty teenager voice that they all kind of share. But there is something just so different with Apollo. I'm not sure if it's the more like arrogant, godlike voice mixed with this like teenager morality complex that they have, but it's just so fun. In terms of the plot, I think overall it was really interesting in this one. It had me on the edge of my seat because despite knowing that like Apollo and everybody will be okay, these situations in this one felt a bit more threatening and they felt more impactful, more important. I feel like the stories in this series so far are far more interesting due to the more oracle perspectives. They include like Apollo's past and like present dream sequences and the different relationships, both old and new, that he interacts with just because he was a god before. I'm just really enthralled by everything that surrounds this series overall. I was also very, very excited by the ending in this one, so I cannot wait to read the next one. I'm so happy to be in this series. I'm so happy to be loving a Rick Riordan series like past the first book. This has been such a success so far, so I gave this 4 stars. Really enjoyed it. Highly recommend this series. And next month, or rather this month that you're watching it, we are reading The Burning Maze, which is the 3rd book in the Trials of Apollo series. And needless to say, I'm just so excited to get into this one. This month you can anticipate reading sprints with me and Hanani and another vlog for The Burning Maze. But that's it for this vlog. If you've read the Trials of Apollo series and you would like to let me know your thoughts down below, please do. I love talking with everybody and learning everybody's feeling about the Trials of Apollo series. And if you would like to follow me on my journey, I always leave a link down below to my Twitter, Goodreads, and Instagram if you would like to follow me there. And of course, because it is the end of the video, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. Tell you every time it does wonders for my channel. It makes me feel really good. And that's it. I never know how to end these things, so I will see you next time. Okay, bye!